There's the version of this story you've probably heard. An American fighter jet gets shot down, a crew goes missing, a rescue mission is launched. Simple, clean, understandable. But when you start looking closer, that version doesn't really hold up, because the way the United States responded to this was anything but normal. The aircraft was an F-15E Strike Eagle, a highly advanced strike fighter, 2 crew members on board, a pilot and a weapons systems officer. The jet goes down, and almost immediately, the United States launches a rescue operation. But not just any rescue operation, a massive one. Dozens of aircraft, special operations forces, electronic warfare support, even reported involvement from intelligence agencies. That's not typical, that's something else. Because here's what stands out. The urgency wasn't just about recovering personnel, it was about one specific person. The weapons systems officer in modern combat aircraft. The WSO isn't just assisting, they're managing targeting systems, handling mission data, and working with classified intelligence. They know where the aircraft was going, what it was targeting, and sometimes why. So when the US risks escalation to recover that person, it raises a question: what did he know? At the same time, publicly, the narrative was escalating. There were strong signals toward Iran, talks of retaliation, and attention began focusing on Karg Island, one of Iran's most important oil export hubs. The message was clear: if things escalated, that could be a target. But some analysts believe that wasn't the real focus at all. Because Karg Island makes sense if your goal is pressure, economic damage, global oil disruption, strategic signaling, but it also makes sense as something else, a distraction, a way to pull attention away from somewhere far more sensitive, Iran's nuclear infrastructure. And this is where the theory begins, unconfirmed, unproven, but persistent, that behind the public narrative there was a covert objective, not to strike oil, not to invade territory, but to access something. Iran's enriched uranium. The claim is that under the cover of rising tensions, special operations forces were deployed, possibly using modified transport aircraft. The goal: go in quietly, secure material, and get out. Fast, clean, invisible. But then, the F-15 gets shot down, and suddenly, everything changes. Because now the mission isn't invisible anymore. Now there's a crash site, a missing officer, and potentially compromised intelligence. And that's when the response escalates. Fast, aggressive, relentless. And then there's one detail that doesn't quite fit. Unverified reports began circulating that near the crash site, an identification card was found. But not just any ID, allegedly an American ID belonging to a US service member. Now that alone raises questions. Because if this was just a standard downed aircraft, why would additional US personnel be on the ground? Iranian sources even suggested that this could point to something more, possibly a covert operation tied to sensitive sites, even hinting at Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Now, to be clear, none of this has been independently confirmed. No official acknowledgement, no verified evidence. But if true, it changes the story completely. Because now this isn't just about a jet going down. It suggests that there may have already been people on the ground, which starts to make the scale of the rescue operation feel very different. Because the US response didn't just involve rescue, it involved containment. Reports suggest that multiple aircraft involved in the operation were destroyed by US forces, which sounds extreme until you consider why that happens. In covert operations, you destroy your own equipment when you can't let it fall into enemy hands, or reveal what you were really doing. Then comes the final layer. That control of the mission may have shifted from military command to intelligence agencies. Because if the weapons officer survived, he wouldn't just be a rescued soldier. He'd be someone who knew the mission, the objective, the truth behind it. Now, there's no confirmed evidence that this mission happened this way. No official documents, no public proof. But the questions remain. Why such a massive response? Why destroy your own aircraft? Why involve intelligence agencies so heavily? And why does the story feel incomplete? Because sometimes the most important operations aren't the ones we hear about. They're the ones that stay hidden. The mission that wasn't supposed to exist might be the one we understand the least. If you found this video interesting, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below what topic you want me to cover next.